Microphone check 1 2 1 2. This is your host, not son, baby. And this is another episode of Swingers After Dark. Not reading the fine print is the difference between making $100,000 and $1,000,000. And when I first started this podcast, I had to register my show onto a website host so they could store and distribute episodes of my podcast. And when you register on a website host, the host will give you an RSS feed. Now, mind you, when I first started recording my podcast, I was willy-nilly and happy-go-lucky. Yeah, I got my podcast. Yeah, I'm ready to show the world what I'm talking about. But, I had to do my due diligence to research, how to market and promote the podcast so I could be heard, so I could be seen without being seen, because you can't see me, you could just hear me. You feel me? So I had to do my due diligence to do my research, but I didn't know what an RSS feed was. I've seen it on various websites, but I didn't know what it was. So check it. When you first register to a website, they give you an RSS feed. The host website where your podcast is stored, they will give you an RSS feed. Now, mind you, I didn't know what the hell an RSS feed was. I didn't even know the acronym. Now I know. RSS means Real Simple Syndication. It's a link that you will submit to various websites like iTunes, Amazon, Spotify, Google Play, iHeart, and stuff like that. And if they approve your RSS link, when they know that whatever content that you have on your podcast host site, it will be compatible to their website. So they will have to validate the RSS feed that you're submitting so they can see that you're legit. So, as you know, my RSS feed was validated and it was approved. So once again, I'm like, yeah, happy-go-lucky, willy-nilly. My podcast is on all these websites. Yeah, now I could be heard and seen without looking at me. So make a short story even shorter. I'm happy. I'm amped. I'm like, yeah, my podcast is on these websites, these reputable websites. I'm not this rinky-dinky, fly-by-night podcaster. I'm doing my thing. I'm recording and releasing episodes like it's water. And, I come to realize that, when you don't go the extra mile, when it comes to any endeavors that you choose to partake in, you're going to be a day late and a dollar short. What do you mean that, son? What do I mean by that is that, I neglected to check my settings, my destination settings from my host website, to check my RSS feed. Now, you're asking me, now, son, why are you telling me that you're being neglectful of your RSS feed? So this is what happened. As I'm recording and releasing podcast episodes, I'm noticing that my podcast numbers are not really changing. I'm averaging the same podcast numbers. And I'm like, yo, what the Sam Hill is going on? It's like, what the hell is going on? I'm recording all these episodes, I'm releasing all these episodes, but I'm seeing a steady number of downloads and plays. And I'm like, what the fuck? It's like, what the hell is going on? It's like, do they not love me? Do the public not feeling what I'm saying? So I had to do my research because I'm thinking something wrong is my RSS feed. When I go to iTunes and Amazon, you can only see the last 100 episodes. Not now, but back then. I will get to that point later. But back then, you can only see the last 100 episodes. And I'm thinking something is wrong with my RSS feed. But it was nothing wrong with my RSS feed. It was something wrong with me. It was something wrong with me. So I did my Google on, I got my Google search on. I Googled the situation so I could fix the problem. And lo and behold, I had to go on my website host to change the settings on my RSS feed. So instead of you seeing the last 100 episodes on websites like Amazon and iTunes, Amazon is now hosting podcast shows. Anywho, instead of seeing the last 100 episodes on Amazon and Apple Podcasts, you can see all my episodes that I release. Because I'm going on these websites, I'm like, yo, why am I only seeing the last 100 episodes? But voila. It's because I did not change the settings. I did not read the labels. I did not read the fine print. I did not do my due diligence to check every nook and cranny to see if everything was on point. And guess what I did? What I did was I changed the settings from the last 100 episodes to infinity, pretty much. And voila, you can see everything. And guess what? Guess what, family? My download numbers have went through the roof. So instead of reaching a peak of 500 downloads, that same day when I changed the settings on my RSS feed, my download shot up. It went heaven high. There was no ceiling anymore. There was no glass ceiling anymore. And it shot up. So now I went from averaging 500 to 600 downloads a day. I went from that 500 to 600 to 1,000. From 500 to 600 to 1,000. Just for, thoroughly checking the functions on my website. So not only I have to be a content creator, I have to manage a website. I gotta flip the burgers. I gotta make sure the fries are on point. The fries are crispy. I gotta make sure the soda machine is working. I gotta make sure the milkshake machine is working, unless I'm working at McDonald's, because they milkshake machines is always broke. You know what I'm saying? Like, they need a stimulus check to fix their fucking milkshake machines. So, I made sure that everybody could download and listen to all my podcasts that I recorded since day one. So now I'm good. And I say that to say, everything in life is a lesson or a blessing. And that was a lesson well learned. Even the smallest things that you may come across in life that could be a lesson. And that lesson, which had turned into a blessing, was that, yes, I'm an artist. Yes, I'm a content creator. But at the same time, I got to be a technician. I got to figure out how a website could work so I could maximize my content. So you may be happy-go-lucky. You may be, yay, I got my podcast. Woo! You may be happy. But at the same time, you need to figure out the nooks and crannies. You have to go through the nooks and crannies and figure out the bells and whistles of a website that is helping you host your content. Whether you're a merchant, an entrepreneur, or whatever the case may be, you got to figure out the technology part of it. Yes, you're an artist, but you have to wear different hats. You got to be the artist. You got to be the website master. You got to be the business person. You got to be the entrepreneur. You got to be this. You got to be that. You got to be a jack of all trades or a Jane of all trades instead of being a master of none. You understand me? So that was a lesson well learned for me. So now, to all my Amazon and iTunes listeners and downloaders and users, have at it. Instead of looking at the the last 100 episodes, you can see all my episodes. Because I know when you see my podcast, like if you a veteran listener, I know you went on certain websites and you only saw like a limited amount of episodes and you were like, what the fuck? Listen, say no more, baby. Say no more. You're fearless podcaster. You're fearless. Let me say that right. You're fearless podcaster. Worked out the situation. I have the cure for the Common Podcast website. So, play, download, do your thing, listen to what I have to offer. And also you can see my progression and my growth as a podcaster from start to right now. So I just had to, pull your coat. I had to put the bug in your ear. I had to give you the heads up. I had to let you know that now you could check out all 300 plus episodes of this podcast. And for those who don't know what an RSS feed is, in layman's term, an RSS feed is the bridge between your website, your homepage, and the second, like the websites that you want to host, that you want people to listen to your podcast episodes. It's like the bridge between your homepage and other websites like iTunes, Amazon, Google Play, Spotify. It's the bridge. The link is the bridge between, various websites that is linked to your homepage. So for an example, if you were to update your website, if you were to update episodes on your podcast, if you were to make any updates on your homepage, it could be minor, it could be audio files, images, descriptions, whatever the case may be, episode descriptions, whatever the case may be, your RSS feed is used to refresh the information that's on the websites, on the other websites. So your RSS feed is like the messenger. Your website is telling your RSS feed to, okay, bruh, I'm changing this. So make sure Amazon and Spotify and Apple got those same changes. You understand me? So instead of you, having this tedious task to change everything on various websites, it's like, instead of having this tedious task and this struggle and this headache of going through every website to make these changes, the RSS feed does it for you because it's linked to your homepage. And like I said, it's a bridge from your homepage to the other websites that approve your RSS link. I didn't know that at the time, but I got the point. As you keep doing something, you learn certain things and you get the point. And I got the point. So now I'm good to go. At first I went from not knowing what an RSS feed was to knowing the acronym and knowing its functions. So like I said, you got to know everything inside and out of your business, the mechanics of your business, to the technology of your business. Because like I said, not reading the fine print is the difference between making $100,000 and $1 million. And on that note, this has been another episode of Swingers After Dark, and this is your host, Not Son, baby. Check out my website at www.notsonblaze.com. That's www.nahsunblaze.com. And check out my ebook, You, Me, Us, Them, The Swinger Manifesto. It's on Nook, Kindle, iBooks, Google Play. Go get it. Shoot me an email at swingpodcast@gmail.com. That's swingpodcast@gmail.com. Hit me up with any questions or concerns that you may have. Rate, share, subscribe, and comment on this podcast. You dig. And on that note, until next time, peace.